So let's start at the very beginning. Now, granted, many families come to me and they haven't necessarily they haven't had a savings plan. They haven't thought about saving for college. They haven't thought about their philosophy of saving for college. But we're going to start there, and the reason is because even if you're coming to me later in the game, like sophomore, junior, senior year, the saving for college philosophy will still influence the way that you're going to pay for college, and I'll show you that here in a second. So the first step is to define your philosophy of paying for college. And this is something that I can guide families through. But one of the pieces that's really, really interesting for you and your significant other or whoever is going to be influencing the college decision, whether that be a grandparent, student themselves, etc., you need to get together and really define what it means to go to college. Let me give you an example. So when I'm saving for my kids to go to college, I really think of it in terms of a third, a third, a third. So I want to save about a third of what it's going to cost for them to go to college down the line. My kids are young. Then a third is going to get paid out of my current earnings while they're in school. So I'm assuming I'm going to have a job and I'll pay as I go along. The next third is probably going to come out of debt or scholarships. And so that's my funding pie. Now, granted, those may change over time. I may have a really bright student that gets lots of scholarships, or I may take out more debt at that time for some reason, or I may save more than I expected. Maybe the market has performed really well. And so those can change over time, but I'm always planning for those. Those thirds, maybe one piece of the pizza pie is going to get a bit bigger, but I know I'm probably going to pay a little bit out of pocket as my kid is going along, and I'm planning and preparing for that. So once you decide that, and for some families it might be we're going to save 100%. For some it may be it's all on my kid, et cetera, et cetera. So you've got to define what that looks like. You also want to define, is my kid going to go to two-year community college and then transfer into a four-year school? Are we going to save for that, knowing that they may go 4 years to a four-year school? Are we going to limit it to specific private schools? Do we want our kid only to go to XYZ university because that's where I went, et cetera? You need to talk through all those different pieces. And I have some documentation, if you'd like, I can send you what it looks like to really define this process and what questions you need to be asking. Just let me know. My contact information is going to be at the end of this webinar. But then after you get that, then you can actually project your college costs. And there are many calculators out there. I've linked a lot of these in this slide deck, but many calculators out there that can help you inflate the cost of what it's going to be when your kid goes to college in, let's say, 2 years, 4 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it looks like. Then you can regress this back to a monthly savings number, and then you could work with your trusted advisor or financial advisor to really put a plan in place as to how you want to grow that money to get there. And I live in the Kansas City area, so I've linked a couple of our 529 account plans, but you may have different plans. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm a college planner, but work with your advisor to figure out what savings plan is best for you and what advantages might come there.